Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to 7.4.3 Entropic Extinction and Quantum Lock path. This is one of your paradox paths. So the way you gain paradox charges is with the parry, and the way you lose them is with an intercept, and you have to keep the charges between 3 to 12 and not break the paradox and take extra damage. Now the first one is going to be Entropic Extinction. So the attacker has plus 30% debuff potency for every paradox debuff you have. So for example, if you're using any damage over time champion, they will work really well here because their potency of the damage over time will increase a lot. So bleed, incinerates, shock, all of them work really well. And foresight, when you intercept the opponent, you will not only reduce one paradox charge, but you will also get a passive fury, increasing your damage by 200% for 5 seconds. And the final one is going to be Now You See Me. So every 10 seconds the attackers will be inflicted the falter debuff, and there's a 100% chance to miss for 3 seconds, but if you land an attack on the opponent, this timer is reset. The boss is going to be a King Groot that we're going to attempt more on him later in the video. And for your masteries, you can run either suicide and non-suicide setup. It's up to you. I am going to run a suicide setup. I will share the screen with you in a second so you can check it out, and let's jump into the path. But before we do, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the post notifications. All of that really helps me out a lot and helps me grow the channel. So the first defender is going to be an invisible woman. Now take care of her invisibility because she will cause you to miss, but there's an easy way to deal with that. You can just bring in the champion that has easy access to bleeds, and you can use that because she is susceptible to bleeds. All you need to do is to parry and you will build up your paradox charges. I'm using a heavy attack as well with Mole Man to build up those charges on monster mass to get that frenzy. Once you have that, it's a pretty straightforward fight. Any bleed champion will kill off invisible wound very quick, especially if you have deep wounds and you also have champions that have easy access to bleeds. So Blade, Nick Fury, Gwenpool, also Archangel, all of these champions work really well, and you should be able to bring down invisible women very easily. Next defender is going to be a Dr. Voodoo. Now he is a mystic champion, and I like using class advantage champions against all the defenders in Act 7 because first thing, you will get the extra damage from class advantage. Secondly, if you're using a 6-star champion, you get more damage because of Act 7. So you will notice me, I'm always trying to use class advantage champions, and I'm suggesting champions are also the same. But then again, you can use other champions as well. To be honest, any damage over time champion will work great here. I am using suicide mastery, so I'm trying to use champions that do not use specials to get those damage over time effects. And once I have those parries, I'm just going to use parry and heavy, and if I need to reduce, I will just use an intercept and get some extra damage with the foresight as well. So pretty easy fight with Dr. Voodoo, not really difficult. SP1 and SP2 both are easily available, so I hope you get through this fight very easily. The next defender is going to be a Joe Fixit. He can be very annoying. He can do a lot of damage depending on what kind of draw he gets, but try to use a champion that is a 6-star and also a skill, so you can get all of those extra damage from X7 bonus for 6-star and also your class advantage. I'm using a Black Widow Deadly Origin, and all those shock damage will apply and they will stack up to do a lot of damage to Joe Fixit. You can literally use any other champion. I would suggest you to push Joe Fixit to SP2. It's much easier to evade. The SP1 can do a lot of block damage, so just keep an eye on that and you should be able to bring him down without any fuss. So the first annoying defender of this path is going to be a Daredevil HK purely because he can shrug off all the non-damaging debuffs. So if you parry him, there's a chance he will shrug it off and he will retaliate and hit you. So what you need to do, either if you don't have any champion, like for example Apocalypse, or for example White Mags or Omega Red, that can give you passive stuns or that will not allow Daredevil's Kitchen to shrug off the debuffs, then what you can do is you can just hold your block with any champion, let him throw a heavy attack. Once he does throw a heavy attack, you can retaliate. Both of his specials can be easily evaded. So if you keep that in mind, you should be able to get through this fight fairly easily. And also by this time you should have your paradox charges built up on other champions, so you can use that as well and they can be handy for you. The next defender is going to be a Void. Now he is going to be really annoying because he will do you a lot of damage if you have already debuffs on you. So I am running Suicide Masteries, so you will notice my Elsa Bloodstone will just melt away because of his abilities. I will try to do some damage to Void, but eventually I will die. So make sure that if you're running Suicide Masteries, bring in champions that do not require suicides, they're immune, or at least they can shrug off the damage of the bleed and poison. So the next champion I bring in to deal with this Void is going to be a Mole Man. Now Mole Man at the start of the fight will shrug off both the bleed and poison, so I don't need to worry about the damage. And if you're going to bring in Nick Fury, you can also bring him with the synergy with Deadpool X, so those poison and bleed can be removed. So just be careful about that. Apart from that, pretty straightforward Void fight, not really difficult. Just make sure if you're running suicides, bring immune champions for this one. And then you have a Tigra, and I never take chances against Tigra because one SP2 or SP3 literally destroys you. So I'm just gonna bring in a Human Torch and I'm gonna start with a pre-fight ability, and every now and then I will try to throw in intercept so I can get Foresight and reduce one of the paradox charges. I'm trying not to parry and trying to bait her SP1. Now just got clipped there. Look at damage on that. I had pushing her to an SP2 because that takes a lot of space on the screen and you're almost every time cornered. So you just need to be wary about that. SP2 is good from Human Torch because you can stun the opponent and do a lot of damage. So make sure whatever champion you bring, just keep Tigra to SP1 and you should be able to bring her down. It's not an easy fight. It's going to be annoying unless she decides not to throw her specials. The boss fight is going to be against a King Groot with Apex Predators and quite a few other nodes. He's going to go unblockable, he's going to have Furies on him, he's going to have all of those armors with tough as nails. So the best way to deal with it is to bring in champions that have easy access to either nullify or stagger, or they can take advantage of all of those buffs. So for example, you can bring in a Longshot and this fight is very easy. You can also bring in somebody like Symbiote Supreme or Doom. All of those work really well against King Groot. You can also bring in White Mags for a pre-fight ability, so you don't have to worry about all of those shrug offs. So once you have that down, it's not really a difficult fight. It might be a long one. This was my first try and I took a lot of damage, but luckily I had Black Widow Clairvoyant. She has the buff immunity and also she can heal on when she's in bleed mode, so that helped me out a lot. But I still died because it was my first time trying with King Groot, so I came back in with Apocalypse to kill him off. But again, it's one of the easier fights of 7.4.4. So I hope this helps you out, guys, and if it does, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notifications, and leave a comment down below what other champions did you use for this boss fight. The next video will have a boss fight featuring with Longshot that is much more easier. And apart from that, guys, I hope you all have an amazing day and I'll see you next time.